everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, welcoming you to another live edition of the Dr. Glidden Show.tv, where we are having Metaphysical Thursday one day early. Once a week, we devote half of the program to discussing metaphysical issues which are germane to the health and welfare of the human body-mind. Today we have a very, very special guest in the house. Let me bring up her bio and introduce her properly. Her Holiness Kadro Crystal Shu Rinpoche is the lineage holder and spiritual leader of the fifth stage of Black Sect Tantric Buddhism, the designated successor to His Holiness, the late Grand Master Lin Yun, the CEO of Yun Lin Temple, the chairman of the Taipei Lin Yun Foundation, and an adjunct professor at the School of Arts and Letters at San Diego State University. Rinpoche Kadro Crystal is a spiritual teacher, a meditation master, and the leading authority on Black Sect Tantric Buddhism, Feng Shui. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. She's an international speaker. She gives lectures, workshops, spiritual growth, and meditation retreats all across the United States in the last 2 decades. As a matter of fact, she's given lectures to the staff members at the United Nations, New York University, the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute of Harvard Medical School, the University of London, George Mason University, the Taiwanese Canadian Cultural Association, 6 international feng shui conferences all around the world. In 1998, she was recognized and consecrated by His Holiness Lungtok Tenpai Nyama, the supreme leader of Tibetan Bon tradition, and honored with the title of Kadro Rinpoche. Kadro means the highest female position in religion, and Rinpoche means a precious spiritual teacher. Now, to set the stage here, I don't know if you've ever been in a building or a room in somebody's house or in a hotel or in a temple or somewhere in the world, and just by being in that space, something changed for you. There was something noticeably different about your experience of the world. Well, Feng Shui is a scientific method, a scientific/metaphysical method of putting together a physical space in such a way as to increase the benefits of different aspects of your life. It is quite a remarkable tradition. It is quite a remarkable methodology. And I have to tell you, folks, we go by experience here, right? This is the biggest asset that I bring to the world stage, is I speak about stuff of which I have had direct personal experience. And I have had direct personal experience with Feng Shui, and I am, as God is my witness, when Feng Shui principles are properly applied, amazing things start to happen. So without further ado, let me introduce to you one and all Her Holiness Kadro Crystal Shu Rinpoche. Rinpoche, thank you so much for being with me.
Dr. Glidden, I'm so happy to be on the show today.
Well, thank you very, very much for being here. Let me try to bring up your video. We're having trouble with the video feed here. Well, while I'm fooling around with that, attempting to bring up your video here, let's get started. I think getting started at the beginning is a good place to go. So if you could be so kind as to give the listening audience just a general overview of Feng Shui.
Okay. Yeah, Feng Shui, what is the Feng Shui? So let's we take a look at the definition and given by His Holiness, late Grandmaster Lin Yun. He said the Feng Shui is mankind used the knowledge to get in use the different fields of the knowledge known during his time to build, to create, and to select his living in a working environment, which provides the most suitable condition for his survival. And the study of this knowledge is we call Feng Shui. And by this definition, and I further explained what the feng shui is. Feng shui deals with the very close relationship between one's well-being and his living, working environment. The feng shui knowledge studies how to eliminate harmful impacts for one's life and how to optimize one's life by acquiring comfort and happiness from their environment. So feng shui exists in the environment, and just no matter how do we study it and how do we look at them, how do we rectify all the feng shui problems. And also, the other hand, we can utilize feng shui to enhance, optimize our life in different aspects.
It's fascinating stuff. So the principles of feng shui are intended in order to help human beings optimize their potential by taking care of the physical world around them, by setting up their living spaces in such and such a way, by putting different lights in different corners of the building, by perhaps having different colors or different architectural themes in their house in specific rooms, and by setting up the physical world around us in ways which are congruent with feng shui principles, we can therefore have a direct, pragmatic, and often dramatic result on how our life unfolds. It's really quite remarkable stuff. Can you give us examples of health conditions that you have actually seen people recover from using feng shui principles?
Okay, yes. The feng shui deal with, relates to many different aspects of our life. Then if it's for the feng shui part, for the health related, and I would say because we need to have a concept is we call it multiple causation. So anything happens to our life, it could be triggered by many different factors with many different reasons behind it. And the feng shui is one of the factors. It could be one of the very important factors, but not be the only factor to trigger the health problem. So when we talk about the health, then for the illness, it could be caused by genetic reason or caused by physical, physiological, mental, or your lifestyle, the diet, and pollution of the environment. And even from the Buddhist philosophy, and we talk about some of the illness caused by the negative karma from past lives. So there are many different reasons cause the health issues. And feng shui could be one of the reasons, but will not be the only reason. So in that, in that regard, so the treatment for health, for illness, then also multiple solutions. Then, of course, we definitely need to seek for professional medical help, and then maybe second, third opinions, and then maybe alternative medicine, medical advisors or methods. And then from our Black Tantric Buddhism, other than all the mundane, logical, professional health methods, and we talk about we can adjust it, or we can use as a complementary method from feng shui adjustment. It could be something wrong with your feng shui, because feng shui definitely from our theory is very closely related to our health. And also we talk about the qi, our vital force, our vital energy inside of us. So we need to uplift the qi of the individual. And we also talk about some so-called transcendental solutions. It may not be very logical, but it works. So we combine many different methods along with mundane professional help to deal with a particular illness. So there's no single solution. Just from feng shui can help or cure the disease, but it could provide a very great deal of help in that regard.
Yeah, I get it. Fascinating stuff. So from your point of view in regarding the principles of feng shui and the existence of feng shui in the world, if somebody is up against a health issue, it's entirely possible that part of the health issue might have something to do with the feng shui in their life. And by altering the feng shui in their life, you can perhaps have a positive effect on somebody's health, a positive effect on somebody's wealth, a positive effect on somebody's relationships, right? There are many different aspects of this. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. What's the difference from the feng shui philosophy between the concept of the bagua and the elements? Can you line up those two distinctions for the listening audience?
Okay, from the feng shui has a very long history, and in Chinese, it's just, I think it's our ancestors' wisdom, thousands of years ago, or to systemize the knowledge. However, feng shui exists when there's a human being, because whenever we have the environment around us, and that feng shui is there. So regardless, you know about feng shui, or you have the knowledge of the feng shui, or you ever studied or believe it or not, but the feng shui impact is there. And when we talk about it, and your question is very good, then what is the bagua and feng shui elements? I did see this term, quote unquote, feng shui elements. That means when you go into the house or into a building, where to look? Where's the feng shui? And how do we know, how do we read feng shui? And how do we start? So,
that's really good questions, which we will pick up on the other side of the break. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a fascinating conversation. Call everybody in your life and have them tune in and turn on. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, back with the Rinpoche after these messages. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. In the wonderful world of all of the knowledge of the universe, there's the stuff that you know, there's the stuff that you don't know, and there's the stuff that is so far outside of your reference range that you didn't even know you didn't know that. And when you have access to that information, to that data stream, that's when you have a eureka moment. And I've had a number of eureka moments in my life, some of them with feng shui, some of them with holistic medicine. And I have to tell you, folks, we have the world's leading expert on feng shui. If this interview piques your curiosity and you're having a little eureka moment of your own and you want to learn more, go to this website that's streaming right now in the video feed, the Feng Shui Certification Program.org, the Feng Shui Certification Program.org. Let's get back with Her Holiness the Rinpoche and talk more about this fascinating subject of feng shui. So, from your position, from the feng shui position, there are many different aspects of the feng shui which exists in the world, whether you believe in it or not, sort of like gravity, right? Gravity exists whether you believe in it or not. Mathematics exists whether you believe in it or not, and so it is with feng shui. And if we study the feng shui and learn about the feng shui, we can manipulate the feng shui in life in order to create a better outcome. Am I more or less on the right track here?
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
All right, very, very good. So let's talk more about it. So, let's talk about the bagua and the elements as they relate to feng shui theory and feng shui philosophy.
Okay. And bagua is just one of the feng shui elements. And from the Black Tantric Buddhism, feng shui principles, and we identified probably around 60 different feng shui elements. And those can be characterized into two big categories, would be visible elements and invisible elements. And visible elements is what you can see from your naked eye. invisible elements is something in our space we don't see, but they do affect us from the feng shui perspective. So talk about the visible elements, then we talk about qi of the land, shape of the lot, terrain of the lot. We talk about shape of the house, floor plan, and also various interior elements as well as exterior elements. I think you will have a question about those later. And then for the invisible elements, and we talk about how to reinforce the cures through our visualization, and how can we uplift the qi of a place, of the house, of the for the family members, individuals, because the feng shui, our feng shui theory is around another theory, which is the core of the feng shui. We talk about it. We call it as the qi, C-H-I, and that is exists in our environment and exists in our physical body. And if the qi is low or weak or affect our health, affect our luck, and some of the bad qi, bad luck in the space, and how can we eliminate them? And we can, instead replacing with auspicious good luck qi, if the qi is low in a place, in a house, how can we uplift it? And we have the various methods, and those we call invisible elements. And also invisible elements include the predecessor qi, the history of the house, history of the building, and even the office. And the predecessor qi left over would affect the successor as well. And then, of course, we apply some yin-yang philosophy, and we look at the whole formation, the thought of the house building. And that's all are invisible because you don't see, but we can adjust it. So feng shui does affect all different aspects of the life. But again, I always tell my students that feng shui is one of the important factors affect our life and can also be enhanced to optimize the overall well-being, but not the only factors. We still have to do a lot of mundane efforts for our life.
We get it, Rinpoche. It's another hard commercial break from God's lips to your ears, ladies and gentlemen. Talk about the stuff you didn't know. It's live right here, right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Welcome to another live edition of the Dr. Glidden Show.tv. Today's special guest, the Rinpoche Kadro Crystal, who is the world's leading expert of feng shui. And I don't know if you've ever had the experience, folks. If you've been driving down a street, you pass a house, and you just get the creeps. You just get a funny feeling from it. Or you go into a restaurant, and as soon as you walk through the front door, you just know that this place just ain't right. Well, this has to do with feng shui. And feng shui argues that there are things that you can do to your physical environment, both inside the dwelling and outside the dwelling, in order to increase different aspects of your life, to increase your relationship status, to increase your health, to increase your wealth, to increase your experience of helpful people in the world, and so forth and so on. It is a fascinating metaphysical science, a fascinating metaphysical science that I wholeheartedly encourage you to get more information on if you feel so inclined, and perhaps the best place to go for more information, Feng Shui Certification Program.org, Feng Shui Certification Program.org. Let's get back now. We have 12 minutes left. This is the longest segment of the radio program, so let's get back with Her Holiness the Rinpoche. Okay, so we've got feng shui elements inside the house and feng shui elements outside the house. Give us a pragmatic example right now. We understand that in order for people to really get a handle on this, they need to be trained in this. And this is not a fly-by-night thing that people can learn, in 20 minutes on the Internet. We all understand that. But could you give the listening audience a pragmatic example of just one or two things that they could do inside their own dwellings in order to help optimize the feng shui in their life? Is such a thing possible?
Well, yes. I think in general, for the interior factors, we talk about the interior elements. We talk about the position of the bed and position of the desk, and we talk about like stove situations, or there's the beams, the pillars, and then also for the pointed angles, right angles, and exterior factors relates to all the surroundings of the house, including the detached structures and also the colors and any pointed roof or roof ridges from your neighbor in the road, street.
So these right, I get it. So what would be perhaps something that someone could do inside the entryway of their house in order to increase their feng shui? Okay.
It really depends on the various situations. I think in general would help everybody, because even the entryway, then we have to, some people from the beginning, and the entryway has something wrong with some feng shui problems. So then the solutions really depends on the different situations. And I would suggest that people would hang wind chime, brass made wind chime, and has a very crisp, clear sound, and hang that in front of the stove. That's where the the position is, and hang down from the ceiling. And that is very powerful feng shui solution to enhance the whole family look, enhance the career, enhance the harmony, the family harmonious relationship.
Fascinating stuff. Excuse me. Fascinating stuff, ladies and gentlemen, the study of feng shui and how it can positively, or if not taken into consideration, have negative effects on your life that you were completely unaware of. So, for training, right, if somebody's interested in feng shui and they really want to learn more, then what would you recommend as a simple step for someone to take?
Hello?
Yes, we're still here. Come on in.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I just lost you a little bit. Could you...
Yeah, we're having a little bit of a technical problem with the video feed here. I apologize for that. But the audio is loud and clear, and it looks as if we have the video back as well. Thank you so much for your patience in this, Rinpoche. Technology during Mercury retrograde is always tricky. So what can you tell us about getting more training, more information, and understanding the basics of feng shui?
Mm-hmm. Well, I do offer feng shui 2-year His Holiness Grandmaster Lin Feng Shui certification program, because His Holiness Grandmaster Lin, who is one brought feng shui introduced to the West, and because of his incessant efforts lecturing and teaching classes, so he made the feng shui known and popular to the Western world. I would say probably 80% of the feng shui practitioners all practice our Black Sectarian Buddhism feng shui principles. So I do offer the 2-year feng shui certification program, and the curriculum is very systematic than ever before, and I wanted to teach students step by step to understand all of the feng shui elements principles and solutions.
Fascinating. And yeah, where does someone go to secure that training?
They can go to our website to look all the introductions, or they can call my office. Our nonprofit organization, Yunlin Temple, in Berkeley, YUNLINTEMPLE. Our phone number is 510-841-2347, or email to us, yunlintemple.org.
YunlinTemple.org. It's streaming net live on the video. YUNLINTEMPLE.org. If you would like more information in this fascinating subject of feng shui. So I'm really interested in this, and I've had direct personal experience of optimizing feng shui in my house and in my office. And when we had a feng shui consultation in the house, for the house, we had a comprehensive feng shui consultation that took care of, a lot of the entire house, and not only the house that we live in, but also the lot on which the house is situated. Yeah. And when we dialed in a feng shui diagnosis, for lack of a better word, and then a feng shui treatment, remarkable things started to happen in the area of career. And this was one of the things that we were focused on. I really think it's just such a fascinating subject, such a fascinating, overlooked field of endeavor. Can you give us examples of things that you have seen change in your students' lives when they've implemented feng shui?
Yes, lots. Because not only my students, but I see a lot of friends in my past 30 years, learning with His Holiness Professor Lin, and also my consultation. And for example, I should say first, whatever the rectification or the enhancements we apply, it all works. And for example, the students adjust their office desk or home desk, and they find a job, or they have a problem with afraid of being laid off pretty soon, and they adjust the feng shui, and they are able to stay. And they have a hard time in the office career, and they adjust the feng shui. They are able to go through the tough time. It's just thousands examples. Whatever you name it, and then we all can pretty much resolve it from feng shui adjustments, and along with some other transcendental, we call it some transcendental cures. And a lot of friends, they like to looking for the right person in a relationship, and they do the feng shui adjustments, then able to find the right person, and they want to conceive the baby, and once they do the cure, and they are able to conceive the baby. And one of my friends, she has a habitual miscarriage for 6-7 times, and of course the feng shui has some problems, like I said, the predecessor problem, and also the remodeling problem and skylight problem. So I advise them of the feng shui adjustments, and as well as some other solutions. And she's able to have a baby last year.
It's quite remarkable, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're having trouble with your career, if you feel like you're stuck somewhere, if you're having trouble with your relationship, if you want to be in a relationship and you're not, or if something is going wrong in it, or if you have a problem with your boss, or if you just got fired, or if you're looking for work, whatever it is, whatever obstacle that you're up against in your life, you can help yourself to get on the other side of it. The same way that we recommend people look towards their diet and make sure that they have the proper nutrition, make sure they have all of the raw materials present in the body in order to let the body just take care of itself the way that nature and God intended it to. You can produce the same type of positive effects in your life, in areas of your life where you seem to be stagnant or stuck, by dealing with and taking care of the feng shui in your life. Now, what's the best way to do that? Well, hire a certified feng shui practitioner, and or, if you feel so inclined, educate yourself about feng shui. So, Rinpoche, if somebody wanted to do a feng shui assessment of their life, how would they go about doing that, and where does a person go to find a feng shui practitioner that's really legitimate and that really knows what they're talking about? How do we access that type of individual?
Well, they can. I would advise they can contact me and Tempo. They can email me and tell me about their problems, and or seek a consultation from me, because it involves the life issues, the life tough difficulties. So some of the issues may be quite very serious. I'm not sure about some other consultants or any of my students. Do they have sufficient knowledge to provide advice or give the correct diagnosis or prescription? So I'd rather to take a look or deal with people's problems to understand what it exactly is, and I'm able to give them the right advice what to do.
Fantastic stuff, folks. Stay tuned. We're finishing up the first hour with the Rinpoche when we come back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden finishing up the first hour of today's program with Her Holiness the Rinpoche Cadre of Crystal. If you would like a personal consultation, a feng shui consultation of your own, which I highly recommend, yunlintemple.org. We have the URL up on the live video feed. That's YUNLIN temple.org. Rinpoche, there's also, interestingly enough, a school of feng shui here in Chicago. I believe their website, the Feng Shui School of Chicago.com, the Feng Shui School of Chicago.com. Are you affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form?
No, I'm not familiar with them, but I think the teacher, Laurie Polly, is one of our students. But I think what she teaches is just partial of our principles, not very complete, thorough. But whatever our feng shui principles and solutions, even partial, is powerful enough. Like a lot of students only apply Bagua. Bagua is the tool to identify the corners of the house or the building with the representations of our life. Even for some of the adjustments or enhancements there will bring a very miraculous effect. However, the feng shui, our life is a big complexity and very involves a lot of complications. So I still would advise if want to be a very professional feng shui consultant, should learn more thorough feng shui knowledge, because any of the 60 feng shui elements matters. So and all of them relate to all our luck and our health and some of the different aspects of our life. So that's why I implement this 2-year certification program. I like anyone who's interested to advance or deepen their feng shui knowledge to learn this feng shui, Black Country Buddhism feng shui, correctly and thoroughly and in a very systematic way, and then equip yourself to be a very confident and qualified student and won't miss any part of the feng shui. Because if we don't do the thorough feng shui and any part of it, you don't see it, and then that could be the one triggers the problem to our life. So that is my opinion.
Yeah, I get. We see the same thing in holistic medicine. I mean, I can't tell you how many partial theories there are which exist in the wonderful world of holistic medicine in the world. And my position a little bit of holistic medicine is better than no holistic medicine.
Yeah.
However, it's always best to get as much expertise as you possibly can when you are attempting to generate a solution, especially with the holistic method and or anything involving the metaphysical zone, feng shui specifically in the context of this conversation. The Feng Shui Certification Program.org, ladies and gentlemen, Feng Shui Certification Program.org and or Yunlin Temple, YUNLINTEMPLE.org. You can see both of these on the live video stream. Rinpoche, I wish we had an entire week to discuss the different aspects of feng shui with you. It's an extremely complicated subject, but once mastered and applied, produces remarkable results. I have to tell you, folks, check feng shui out. It will produce remarkable results in your life when it is properly applied. Rinpoche, thank you so very much for your time. I look forward to bringing you back on the program in the future. Again, thank you so very much for everything that you do.
Sure. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Check out the website, yunlintemple.org, yunlintemple.org. And I will look forward to seeing you when we're taking live phone calls in the second hour. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Stick around. More to come.